morning, everybody. You will need a broomstick if you've just joined us. Get a broomstick close by. We will be working the shoulders and its relationships to the rest of the body. So we don't just work the shoulders because the shoulders are an appendage. They're, like, think of a hanger with your clothes hanging off it. It's basically this girdle of collarbone, breastbone, scapula, rib cage, spine, and the shoulder and arm hang off it like hangers, right? Like your clothes hanging off your hangers. So if your hanger is crooked, the shoulder is crooked. If your shoulder doesn't have its mobility, you will suffer not only because the shoulder has an issue, but because there could be something going on relative to the rib cage, the thoracic spine, the cervical spine, the diaphragm itself, and of course its links to the pelvis psoas area. So we're going to be working that whole chain today. Obviously we're going to do some eldoas. We're going to be doing eldoas from the lowest part of the cervical spine down to the mid-back. Anything that would affect any nerves and circulation to the shoulder joint itself today. Okay, so we're going to literally start on all fours. So come on your knees, keep your broomstick close by. All right, so we're good. Hello, hello. Okay, so coming to your knees, you're going to slowly sit back onto your feet. Now, if you can't sit like this, no problem. Get into a comfortable position for you, whether it's sitting on the floor, on a pillow, even on a chair for this part is okay. Eventually we'll come onto all fours. So with your broomstick close by, I've got a little stick. Just hold it here for now. You're going to take your hands to your thighs and just catch your breath for a moment. Breathing in and out. Just trying to bring your attention to your breathing. Without judging, without wondering whether you're breathing correctly, just be aware of bringing your breath to a more even rhythm gradually. We've been moving around, so we just want to settle, because the breath is very related to how the shoulder functions. And then you're going to place one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. And I want you to become aware of which part you breathe into more easily or with more difficulty. And then once you've observed what your body is doing, you're going to bring your attention to trying to breathe now into the bottom hand, so belly. And continue. You're going to also think about breathing now into the upper hand, into your chest. And really what we would like is some movement between both areas. So inhaling into the belly, moving up to the breastbone, and breathing out, belly would deflate and the breastbone would fall. And we're going to start imagining that we've got these two balloons, one in the abdomen, one in the rib cage, that we're trying to inflate one at a time or one right after the other. Inhaling into the belly. And don't worry if this is difficult for now. We're going to be working on the diaphragm and the breath. And try one more. Inhale, inhale. Exhale, belly falls. Exhale, chest falls. One moment. All right, I can't take any calls right now if anybody's phoning. Okay. So from here, you're going to place your hands on the floor. So if you're kneeling, come to this position. If you're sitting in a chair, just lean forward over your legs so that your belly, you can feel your belly against your thighs. So once you're here, I want you to think about breathing into the balloon in the abdomen so that you feel the belly inflate against the thighs. And exhale, I want you to think now of drawing the belly in and up, away from the thighs. Inhaling, allow the belly to fall, almost pushing it out. And exhale, pull inward to pull the abdomen away from the thighs. Inhale into the thighs. Exhale away from the thighs. Let's do at least 5 more. Just really getting used to the movement of the abdomen with the breath. If you're finding this difficult, it's okay. It's something maybe you can practice on a daily basis. One more time. And then rolling up, walking the hands towards your legs, come to a neutral tall spine. You're going to take your broomstick now. We're going to bring our attention to the breath in the upper part of the chest. So taking the broomstick behind your back, you're going to hold it with your palms facing you. So not palms away, but palms facing you. Bring your hands as close together as possible relative to shoulder mobility. Okay, so I've got it about hip width for now, just for comfort. And then we're going to think about pulling the stick apart. Okay, so when you pull one hand away from the other, you're going to feel your collarbones almost expanding. Very subtly though. So we're going to go now and try and breathe into that space across the collarbones and into the breastbone. We want to get the whole upper part of the rib cage moving. So you're pulling the hands apart and trying to get the upper balloons inflated with air with every inhale, and making sure you completely exhale so that your next inhalation is maybe a little fuller. It's quite tiring if you're pulling hard, so try not to overwork. Make sure you can keep an even breath. And you might find that as you're holding this, you start to feel the collarbones getting a little longer away from each other and maybe rolling back, and the breastbone starting to lift up more. So you get a little bit more extension through your spine. Inhaling, exhaling. Sorry, Instagram, I think there was something wrong with the live. We are starting with shoulders. You need a broomstick. Sorry about that. So one more breath. And then slowly release. And placing the broomstick down. So we're going to try that one more time. For the sake of Instagram that we kind of lost there for a moment. We're doing some breathing to help the relationship to the shoulder. So we're trying to move breath into the belly, breath into the rib cage. So inhaling into the belly, moving up into the breastbone, exhaling, deflate, deflate. For those of you who've already done the first part, see if it's a little bit easier yet or not. One more, breathing into the belly, into the chest. Breathing out, belly deflates, chest falls. So coming back to the first exercise, hands on the floor. If you're sitting in a chair, hands on your thighs, lean forward so your belly is in contact with your thighs. Let's go back to the belly breath now a little bit more forcefully. So when you breathe in, you're pressing the belly into your thighs, literally with effort push. And as you exhale, pull the belly away from the thighs more powerfully than you'd had before. Inhaling belly into the thighs. Exhale. Belly up and away. So you're squeezing the air out of your lungs. One more time. And then rolling back. One more time with the broomstick. So second time round's always better. You're taking the broomstick behind your back, palms face you. Bring your hands as close together as possible behind your back. And roll the shoulders back, sitting upright. Pulling the hands apart as if you're trying to pull the stick apart. Breathe in, allowing the collarbones to lengthen away from each other and slightly rolling back. Exhale, empty the lungs completely. You're trying to fill up this upper part of the chest. Breastbone pumps up, collarbones roll wide and back. Keep pulling the stick apart. It's quite powerful. See if you can get a little bit more air in now for the last breath. Holding the pole with your arms. Your hands might start to move away from your pelvis behind you because the chest is opening. And then slowly release, bringing the hands to your bum. Release the broomstick and put it away. Good. So from here, you can still continue sitting in a chair if you're sitting in a chair, or you're kneeling as I am. You're going to come take the hands behind the back now, lacing the fingers together. If you can't, you're welcome to continue holding your broomstick. So from here, wrap the shoulder blades together quite powerfully so you start to lift your heart up towards the ceiling. So we're thinking now of opening the doors here at the bottom of the ribs. Inhaling, exhaling here. Let's do 5 full breaths. Trying to get that breastbone to pop up a little higher. Collarbones wrapping back. Remember, we're talking about how the shoulder girdle hangs off the upper appendages, the collarbones, the spine, the neck, the ribs, and the shoulder blade. So we want to get those collarbones to open. So we have a nice wide hanger. 1 more full breath. So now reaching the heart forward as you exhale, bring the belly to your thighs, bringing the hands up over your head, forehead towards the floor or down in front of your knees if you're sitting in a chair. Holding here for 2 more breaths, trying to raise the hands towards the ceiling. Breathing in, breathing out. And then inhale, bring the hands back to your sacrum to roll back up through your spine. Wonderful. And release the hands. Good. So we're going to start with some eldowas. We're going to start working into the cervical spine and move our way down from about C7 down to about T10. Okay? We're going to do 1 vertebrae at a time, anything that affects the shoulder girdle here. So you're lying on your back, on your mat now, bringing the knees towards your chest. You're going to slowly think about flattening your back into the mat and reaching your sacrum away. So you want to feel as though you're lengthening out the lower back. The knees are pulled in and together. And the back of the head now needs to pull away from the tail. So you're going to think of drawing very subtly that chin in. So you're opening up through the length of the back of the neck. You're going to take the feet into a flexion, reaching the heels away, tail up, back flat. And we're going to take the hands now up over the head. So reaching the hands and arms right by your ears, pushing now the hands as far away as possible over your head. Taking an inhale. Tuck the chin, exhale, again. Now if you have the capacity with the chin tucked in, pull the head just 2 finger width off the floor. If you can't, you're keeping your head down, but you're constantly reaching that tail away, chin in. Now think about pushing the palms away, turning the fingers out, and bringing the shoulder blades a little higher up towards your ears. Try and see if you can get a little bit more lift. Breathing in, filling up the belly, filling up the chest. Breathing out, emptying both areas. 1 more, bring that chin in. And then slowly put the head down. Slowly bring 1 arm, and then the other. Release. Lovely. So we're going to do 2 more for the cervical spine, working our way up a little bit, 1 notch. So we're going to take our hands now wide, in line with the ears. Think of turning your fingers towards the floor, so you're pushing the heels of your hands and palms away from each other. Same intention with the spine, tail pulling away, feet flexed, back of the head pulling away, so the chin subtly pulls in, just don't close your throat. And breathe. Push. Again, if you have the capacity to take the head off the floor, just 2 finger width, off the floor, chin in, so eyes towards your knees or your belly button helps. Breathing evenly, belly to ribs. pushing the heels and hands away, keeping that lower back long and flat on the mat with the tail reaching up. It's quite hard work. The front of the throat works hard. All those muscles in the neck work. One more breath. And then slowly placing the head down, trying to keep that neck long. Release one arm and then the other. Maybe rock from side to side to release. Good, so we're going to one more cervical elbow out. So this time the hands, rather than being above the head, they're going to be below. And you're going to be reaching here towards your heels. So same intention, lengthen tail, lengthen nape of the neck, back is flat. Reaching the hands now down. A little bit, not glued to your thighs, but just slightly open so you're comfortable. Pushing the fingers towards the floor, heels of the hands away, hold, breathe. Try and get that belly and rib cage to move with the breath. More length through the neck, more length through the lower back. One more breath in, breath out. Remember, you can keep your head on the floor if it's too much for the neck to raise the head. And then slowly head down, arms one release and the other, and rock from side to side. Fantastic. So roll onto your side. You're going to push yourself up to seated. We're going to start working into the upper back. So you're going to come now to all fours one more time, and you're going to think about taking the hands just slightly forward of the shoulders. You're going to think of sending the tail towards your heels and the back of the head away from the tail, so you're lengthening out the lower back as much as possible, the spine as possible. Now keeping that tail tucked, you're going to reach back only as far as you can keep that tail tucked. Your hands are pushing away, turned out. Head comes down, ears in line with the arms. And you're thinking always of lengthening through the spine, tail to skull. So we're moving right to the upper part of the upper back here, T1, T2. Breathing fully. Inhale to exhale. So you're really pushing the palms of your hands away from your hips. Reaching out of the arms, lengthening through the back of the neck, chin in, tail tucked. You don't want to lose that tail position. And then slowly bring yourself back up and catch your breath and release. Well done. Okay, so we're going to bring one arm now underneath the shoulder. Think again of lengthening out through the spine, so tail away from head, head away from tail. And you're going to take the other arm by your hip, turned out, push the heel of the hand away, and hold. So we're working one notch lower in the vertebrae of the upper back. Tail reaching away and down, back of the head up and long. Press up out of the supporting arm, push the heel of the hand away. Breathing. Try and keep that breath fluid. So we're going to move the arm now from back here around and up in line with the ear. So this is my difficult shoulder. You should really, if I show you the other side, you should really have the arm up here, okay? Pressing the heel of the hand away. Some of you know that I have frozen shoulder, or have had. It's been healing over the last 2 months. I've been working hard on it. And I've got my range of movement back, quite a bit of it back. Working all these elbows, working my diaphragm. And now taking the arm all the way up overhead. Now right by the ear, push the heel of the hand away. Careful you haven't lost your tail tuck and the nape of the neck. Head and tail reaching away from each other. We're breathing. Don't give up. One more breath in, breath out. And then slowly bringing that arm down, we're going to do the other side. So same again, you're going to start with the hand by your hip. Remember, your arm is turned out. pushing away as you go. So other side. So we're going to work now the scapula with your hands shoulder width. You're going to think about now just pinching the shoulder blades together. So your arms are rigid and then pressing back up. Before you begin, think again also of supporting that spine, right? So the abs are in, the tail's pulling away, the back of the neck is long, and you're pinching and releasing. Keep going. I'm going to show you my back. The arms here, you're going to pinch and pull apart. Pinch and pull apart. Now if you can, see if you can let go of one hand. You can rest it on your ribs or belly and see if you can continue that motion here just on one shoulder. Pinch, so you're sinking, push the floor away so you're lifting out of the shoulder blade. Protraction, retraction. Let's do 2 more on this side. And then switch, other hand. Retract, protract. Down, up. My arm stays locked. Let's do 2 and 1. Press up. Both hands now back to the floor, but wider than your shoulders. Quite wide. I'm going to the edge of my mat. Now this time you're going to go and sink into the right shoulder. So I'm leaning over to the right. I'm going to come back up to then lean over to the left, sink, come back up. So if I show you front on, I lean to the right, sink, push back up, lean to the left, sink, push back up. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So we're really bringing the arm bone up into the socket and then pulling up out of it. Last one each side. Well done. Come to a neutral. Bring your hands now back to shoulder width. And we're going to take now the right arm under the left. You're going to reach as far as you can, bringing that shoulder to the floor as much as you can underneath the opposite shoulder. The head rests on the floor. With your left hand pushing into the floor, it will help you to turn through the upper back a little more, so you're bringing more of your chest and ribs to the sky on the left side. Opening up that space between the shoulder blades. Now see if you can really inflate and breathe into your upper back. You're trying to inflate that space between the shoulder blades. Coming back to center. Slowly unwind to do the same on the other side. So now left arm under the right. See if you can bring the left shoulder under the right shoulder, onto the ground, head rests. Right hand pushes into the floor to help you gain a little bit more rotation, bringing the right rib cage to the sky. Breathe. Send the air with your mind into your upper back. Inflate the space between your shoulder blades. One more breath. And then slowly unwind, coming back up. Very good. We're going to do a few push-ups because we all love that. We're really doing the push-up to learn scapula stabilization. Okay, so you've learned how to retract and protract. Protract means you're pushing away, you're bringing your scapula against your rib cage. This is what you want to hold as you bend your arm in the push-up. So, hands under your shoulders. You can hold a box position, kneeling plank, or full plank, but make sure that you don't collapse. Push up out of the shoulder girdle. Once you're here, slowly bend the elbows and see how far you can go, bringing your chest between your hands without retraction of the shoulder blades. Really protract, coming down and coming up. This is quite difficult to have that awareness. Sometimes if you place a yoga block or a book on your upper back between your shoulder blades, it'll give you that feedback. Up, don't worry about going very low. Worry about stabilizing the scapula against your upper back. Let's do 2 and one. And taking a break, lean back. Well done. Slowly coming up to a high kneeling position. We're going to open up through the hips now and the rib cage all the way to the shoulder, so getting that relationship. So you're going to bring tail in, down towards the floor, abs up through the front. You're going to take your hands now to the lower belly so that you really feel that feedback of the lower abdominal supporting you as you lean back to get the quads and hip flexors to open. Coming back to center. Just do maybe 3 or 4 here, just to start opening up through the anterior chain of the legs. Careful not to back bend, not yet. We will be back bending later. And now if you can, tuck your toes under. If you can't, it's okay, but it just helps to open up through the soles of the feet as well, and the toes. And now you're going to go back to hold. Taking the right arm forward, protract your shoulder blade and reach it up over your head by your ear to then bring it back down. Let's repeat for 3 more. Inhale, lean back and lift. Exhale, come to center. Inhale, lean back and lift. Exhale, come back to center. I think there's one more. Lean back and lift. Exhale, come back to center. Same on the other side. So once again, hips are open in the front, abs are in. Left arm reach forward, protract, lean back, lift, bring it back. Reach, lean back, lift, bring it back. Breathe in, breathe out. One more, and out. Now we're going to take that into a side bend with extension, so a torsion. Same position, you're going to lean back and hold. Right arm reaches forward and up overhead. See now if you can reach to the left, back bend lifting that ribs up to the sky. Come back to center, to switch. Left arm forward, lean back, lift the arm. Side bend and lift the ribs up to the sky. Come back and release. If this is okay for you, stay with that. If you want to add on, we're going to do a circular movement if you want to join me. As you lean back, right arm forward, take the arm across, circling around the body to open up all parts of the diaphragm on that right side. Again, right, circle, come back. One more, lean back, open, and return to do the left side for 3. Left arm forward. Lean back, across the face, around, and center. Again, you can just add the little rotation if this is too much for you. One more. Circular if you want, and center. And release. Taking the left leg forward. We're going to go into a psoas stretch, a myofascial stretch for the psoas. So the right leg is back, tuck those toes under, and you're going to take that heel and push it out to the side, to the right. We're going to send the tail down, the body long, crown of the head pushes up to the ceiling, and you're going to go and reach those arms forward, push out, turn out, push away. As you lean into the stretch, you want to feel the opening here of the hip, but you don't want to lose, right, your tuck of the tail. Hold that tuck as you lean, reach the arms forward. Now you're going to turn to face the right. So right leg is back, I turn right. Belly button faces right. Breathe, grow tall. Pull that tail down and under. Now left arm is going to reach up. Right arm is going to reach up. Exhale down. As I reach up with the right, I push away with the left. Take it deeper if you can. Another 2, getting taller, tucking that tail in, and 1, and down, and release. Other side, same thing. Right leg forward, left leg back, tuck the toes under, push the heel out. From here, send that tail under, crown of the head pushes up to the ceiling, push the hands away, protract, turn out, lean. Now turning to the left, belly button faces the left corner. You feel an opening here through the groin and lower belly. Psoas. Left arm now reaches up on the inhale. Push the right away. Exhale. Again, left arm. And down. Keep going. Open up that whole chain to the shoulder. One more. All the way up and down and return and release. Fantastic. So we're almost done. Taking a kneeling position or seated if you prefer. You can sit on a pillow with the legs crossed. You're going to take the right arm up to the ceiling. Left hand to the floor, side bend. Inhaling center. Switch. Right hand to the floor, left arm overhead, side bend. And again. Up. Lift. Up. And lift. So we're going to finish with a swan. So lying on your tummy. From here, your legs are open, hip width and comfortable. You're going to bring your hands right by the sides of your ribs, so your elbows are poking out behind you. Wrap those elbows in so the shoulders roll back and the shoulder blades are pinching together. In the meantime, you're trying to open up that front area of the chest and collarbones. So smile with your collarbones. Breathing in, lift the chest. Breathing out, come down a little, making sure your tail stays lengthening towards your heels. Inhale up, wrap those elbows in. Exhale down. Now if you wish to go a little higher, you can start to push into the hands a little bit, making sure you don't shrug those shoulders. Roll those shoulders back, elbows back. Push into the hands. On your way down, come down vertebrae by vertebrae. Keep wrapping those elbows in to engage the upper back to help the shoulder girdle. Wrap, lift, press. Inhale. Exhale, down. Think of lengthening out of the spine towards the front. Wrap the elbows in, shoulders back. Squeeze between your shoulder blades. Keep wrapping those elbows in. Now let's hold. Breathe into that upper chest. Remember the upper balloon. It's handy to keep the elbows bent and wrapped in, so you keep those shoulders rolling back, collarbones wide. One more breath. And then coming down vertebrae by vertebrae to release. Well done. So one last time, take the hands behind you, lace the fingers together. If you can't, go grab your broomstick one more time. Holding the broomstick as you did when you warmed up. If not, fingers laced. Wrap the shoulder blades together. Toes stay on the floor. Tail lengthens away, hips are grounded. Inhale, wrap the shoulder blades, lift the breastbone, and hold for 3 to 5 breaths. Let's see if we can inhale into the pump of the chest, which carries you a little more into that extension. And as you exhale, see if you can hold that new height. So your next inhale takes you a little higher. Exhale, hold. Inhale a little higher. Exhale, hold. One more. Hold, unlace the hands, bring them underneath you by your lower ribs, push all the way up into extension. Now your pelvis comes off the floor, knees come off the floor, bring your pelvis forward, and then slowly come down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Moving into the knees to child's pose, to release. Catch your breath here, breathe belly to chest. Well done. So you should feel that we've worked that entire rib cage, upper back, collarbones, breastbone, cervical spine. So we're going to open up the trapezius, bringing one ear to the shoulder. The hand on the opposite side of the head. Push the opposite arm now down to the floor. If you want to increase the stretch here, All you have to do is turn the eyes and nose up. Well done. Slowly releasing. Very slow. We switch sides. Hand to the opposite side of the head. Bring the ear to the shoulder. Other arm reaches and pushes towards the floor. Catch your breath. Again, if you want to increase the stretch here, just turn your nose to face the ceiling. And then slowly unwind and release. Well done. So back to this check here that we did at the beginning. One hand on your belly, one hand on your mid-chest. As you breathe in, belly inflates to chest. Think of your two balloons that you're trying to inflate, and then deflate, belly falls, chest falls. Inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. Is it a little bit easier than when you started? Finishing with one more. Well done. Namaste.